Hey everybody, it's Ben in Beta, and today is the day. Finally, I'm headed on my first overlanding adventure in the new Tacoma, and I'm excited to just see how everything goes. Hopefully I packed everything I need, and Rue and I have a good time. We're heading up into the Rocky Mountains, and we're gonna try to camp at a place I've never been before, and just see what it's like. I'm excited to see how the Tacoma performs and how all the other gear performs as well. This has been over a year of planning and spending and building out, and I'm really excited to be able to get out today and give it a try. Forecast is supposed to be in the mid 60s during the day and then like 40 overnight. I don't have a problem with that at all. Rue's along with me today, and hopefully find a really good site. I've got a couple picked out, but we'll see. So I'm pretty much completely loaded down. I'm just missing Misty. The vehicle is having absolutely no problems whatsoever. I have plenty of power, and the gas mileage even seems to be about the same as when it's not laden down, which I think is pretty cool. And then as far as like the kuatibex goes, I was able to put on my molly panels as well as mount the traction boards to the molly panels. That went all pretty smooth, which is great. And the cool part is about running it in full height, as I still can see out of my rearview mirror and see what's going on, which is really helpful for driving. So anyway, we're on our way up, and we'll see how it goes. All right, it's time to air down before we find a campsite. This is actually a campsite right here. We could indeed camp here, but probably not where we want to go just yet. So you can see in the back here, everything seems to have stayed pretty much where it should have, which is great. It is a little bit dusty, which is to be expected, but yeah, everything's where it should be. Now it's time to air down with a Thor's hammer and 4-tire inflation-deflation system from Thor's Lightning. That's pretty good. All right, back her up and we'll get back on the trail. The most important thing here is Rue has got her bed, so she can lay down. You're fine, Rue. I was able to set up the solar really quick, mainly because I somehow have forgotten the DC cable for my fridge. It's tent time. Let's get that going. It looks pretty light in there. It is very dark. It's hard to see anything. All right, so everything's kind of set up. These zippers are very nice. I also got the shoe bag on. We're ready to climb up in there whenever we need to, which is great. You can see, might be some rain coming, so I want to get that moonshade up next. All right, moonshade is set up. Well, Rue and I weathered our first thunderstorm in the tent, and I didn't take any video because we were in a rush to get inside. We did make it through, and now the thunderstorm has gone away and it's beautiful again. It's very possible it's gonna rain again, but the moonshade stayed up. We had probably a good 30, 40 mile an hour winds for a little bit there. Everything held up just fine. Rue got up in the tent. It did take a little bit of finagling because I didn't have it set up the same as I did last time. But I will show you how that works in a future video. So this is basically our place for the night. Maybe it's time for a hike. Rue and I are in the tent. We had one storm and now a second one is just about to hit. So we got up here just in time. Rue's already taking very much to the tent. Right now I've got everything kind of closed up around me. And the only thing I've got open is the skylight. And I did bring my iPad along. So if we need light, that's the low setting, medium and the high setting. Let's see how much light that is, which is quite a bit. Nice and toasty. It was probably 70 something degrees. It's just cooled off quite a bit now that the storm's rolling in. But I'm gonna just hang out in the tent for a little bit and let the storm pass and hopefully be able to make some supper after that. I wanted to see how dark it actually does get in here. All right, you can see how much light there is right now. And then these on there real quick. All right, that's how much light is getting off by the high setting of the light. And if I turn it off, you're not gonna see me anymore. Basically didn't really rain. It does look like rain again if you look over here, and it could start raining, I guess. But I think it's gonna be pretty light. And the wind only kicked up a couple times, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to enjoy dinner here. Rue's already enjoyed her dinner. Now it's time to eat. Use my bottle opener. And then we'll have a nice little dinner here. Lay down? Yeah, lay down. Not for dogs. Yeah, lay down. All right, we made it through the first night. With the exception of snow, we had all the weather. So I had sun, we had wind, we had rain, we had a thunderstorm. So we had all of that, and everything performed flawlessly, I have to say. So I'm really impressed with all the things that we purchased, the time we took to really do the research on what we wanted, and I'm really happy with everything. But let's take a quick tour and just see like what's all here, what do we have, and then maybe you can leave in the comments things you might want more videos about or you might have questions about, and I'll try to answer those. So we have the 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road, and that performed fantastic. In fact, in this site that I'm at, I even had to park it up on a nice rock here, and it was a pretty big rock to try to get things leveled out. I was able to do that without a problem. I had no problems whatsoever getting here. I think I did scrape a trailing arm right here. Everybody says this. Cameras won't do this justice. These are some rock steps here that we had to come down to get to the site, and I was able to do it just fine. Again, I think I hit like a trailing arm somewhere right here. I stopped here because if you look down this way, without a spotter, being on my own, I decided I didn't really want to try some of the stuff going forward from here, and I wanted to park here first and then take a walk and see what the rest of the trail looked like. This I could have gotten through, I think, okay. Probably would have scraped a little bit here and there. Even with the cameras, I think this would have still been difficult. And then it actually gets worse in a couple areas further up. Trails Off-Road rates this a 4, but that was a couple of years ago. And I think this is maybe a little bit more washed out now than it was before. So I was really happy with this spot. I mean, you really can't beat it. Got some great rocks right here. There's a hill back there. Rue and I climbed that a couple times and got just some gorgeous views up there of the mountains that are surrounding everything. So that's kind of the campsite and where we ended up. Camping in the Tacoma with the kuatibex rack and the 4x4 for Colorado tent, and using the moonshade for the awning. Then if you watched my pack up video, you saw that we have a fridge, and this is the APL 55 from Iceco, which I will have a review up of pretty soon. We've had this since last December. We did a trip with it and it performed really well with that, bringing a bunch of meat back from Wisconsin. And we also were able to pick up the cover for it, which will help keep it from getting scratched. And then these will be something I'll be doing a review of pretty shortly as well from Blue Eddy, the AC60 and the B80 battery system. You've seen me use the River 2 Max in the past. There's a reason why I chose these, and we will talk about that in a future video, but those performed very well also. This is how we're getting Rue in and out of the tent. That goes over the top of the ladder for the 4x4 Colorado system. It got down to about 42 degrees last night, and all I had was my blanket that we got from REI. As long as I was covered in that, I was plenty warm, and Rue slept underneath the blanket, and that probably helped a little bit as well, but wasn't cold last night, so that's important. And I also didn't get wet, and we spent quite a bit of time actually in the tent because of some of the storms. Camp kitchen and kind of hangout space. We've got a Coleman table. We've got the Fellow Stag for warming up water and my coffee. Then we're using the Dometic faucet, which we're feeding into a 5-gallon water container. And then we have an Ignic 5-pound propane tank. And this is feeding into an adapter. So that Ignic then feeds into this BRS stove, which collapses down to this size right here. And it's a dual burner, pretty easy to control. Does a fantastic job. I'm impressed by this. We had been using a much bigger stove in the past, and so I'm hoping that this keeps working for a long time. This was only $70, but it's pretty impressive. For the guy lines, we once again used the roller cams. These are their rope rollers, and it's just so easy to cinch everything down. This was very simple. I just can't say enough about the Roller Cam company. They make a great product. Definitely something you should look at. For chairs, we're using these GCI Outdoors. We have a couple of different ones. These are kickback rockers. They're kind of heavy, but they're really comfortable. I love those. And then Rue has this K&H Pet Products pet bed, which is really easy to wash. It gives some good flow, gets her off the ground, and gives her a place to put her head. And she likes that too. That's the camp setup for the first overland adventure. Almost everything worked out perfectly. And I say almost everything because there was only one thing that I was disappointed in, but we already have a solution for it, so it's not a big deal. So in the tent, we used this Alps Mountaineering wavelength double blanket, and that thing is fantastic. Super light, basically kind of like your sleeping bag material, but it kept me super warm. So that's something I would recommend. And it was more than big enough for inside here for, I think, all three of us. When Misty's here too, all three of us will fit underneath that without too much of a problem, which is great. That brings me to the one thing I didn't enjoy, and that is the mattress that comes with the 4x4 Colorado tent. I would say this is about maybe 1.5 inches thick. And if you're on your back, it isn't bad. And this is what they said when we were there. If you're a back sleeper, you're probably okay. But if you're a side sleeper, you're not. And if you're a side sleeper, you need to upgrade this. And we have a solution with that. We have their air foam mattress, their Cloud Comfort mattress from 4x4 Colorado. I wanted to try this just to see how it worked. So again, I'm not mad, because we kind of expected it to be that way. Once we get that in here, this is gonna be much more comfortable, because everything else about this tent was fantastic. The lighting, everything was great. Ventilation, the views. So that was the one disappointment, was that mattress. If you're only back sleepers, this is probably gonna be fine. Even that though, I could feel things underneath. So just something to understand, I think. Upgrading the mattress is definitely important for us because we wanna sleep well. How about you, Rue? Did you sleep good? So some people wonder how you do number 2 when you're overlanding, and there are a couple of different ways to do that. You can use a shovel, dig yourself a hole, and go. Or you can get yourself something like this from Trip Tips, and basically you have a commode out in the wilderness, and then we like to put cat litter in ours before we use it. Now you can also get a shower so that you can be completely contained if you're with other people, but I'm in the middle of nowhere with nobody around, and if somebody wants to watch me, that's fine. Advantages of the digging a hole is you don't have to take anything with you, so this is much more comfortable and easy as far as I'm concerned. But you do have to bring everything back with you and get rid of it when you get back. And for that, I have a 5-gallon bucket, and this closes really, really tight. This sits in the back of the truck, so we really don't smell anything anyway, but this does close tight, which is helpful for all of our trash. At least that's how we do number 2 when we're overlanding. But if we want to have a dirty conversation in the comments below, we can talk about how you do number 2 in the wilderness as well. So anyway, that's a quick tour of the camp and everything that I used on this trip. It was definitely fun. We're going to take a hike now and just enjoy the morning before we pack up and head out. All right, breakfast is all done. We had a great hike. We got to get packed up and we're going to head back today because I've got a meeting later today with Casey and Brian to talk about our overlanding trip later this summer. But this was a fantastic first test of everything. So now that the trip was over, it was time to pack everything up and head back to Colorado Springs. But I feel like this trip was fantastic for learning about all the things that we purchased. Tacoma performed awesome on these trails, and I can't wait to get out on even more trails to continue to learn how everything works and just how we can use this vehicle to get to some amazing places to spend some time in the wilderness. Over time, I'll be adding more reviews to all of these products, and I'm really interested to know what you want to know more about, so please leave that information in the comments. Also leave some information in the comments about some things that you use when you're on your trips that you really love and couldn't live without. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button. That really helps out the channel. I do have links in the description for all these products if you want to pick some of those up. So thank you so much for watching. Remember, live your life in beta, and we'll see you next time.